Okay. All right, folks. We're speaking about God seeing this world, seeing me, and as our sages say in the ethics of our fathers, ayin raya v'ozen shamas, an eye that sees and an ear that hears. And as we've explained, and I'll explain again, this is not because God is seeing and hearing in order that he could exact punishment upon us. Quite the contrary. That's not at all what God desires, to be a punishing God. He's doing that in order that we should have an awareness of the truth. It's the reality, it's the fact that God is aware, sees everything. And that is in order to empower us that we should go and do the right thing and avoid the things that are wrong. Plain and simple. Now, the Alter continues with this idea and says that when we speak about God has an eye, has an ear, what does that mean? Obviously, it's not a physical one. The truth is, he has the ultimate eye and ear. We have a limited one because my eye can only see so far. My ear can hear just so much. And it's got limitations, physical limitations. I can't hear what's going on the other side of the world. I don't see what's going on the other side of the world. But God's eye is an eye that sees, but not something that is got the limitations that our eye has. So here's the truth is, he has the real eye and the real ear. It's just not physical. We have a facsimile of it. What's a facsimile? Well, we're created in his image, so he made us also have an eye and an ear that we could be able to use with limitations. As a matter of fact, when you make a doll also has an eye and an ear, an arm, and so on. But it's only a facsimile of the human one. So the doll has a facsimile of us, and we have a facsimile, something that's similar to God's eye and ear. His is without any limitation. Now, the truth is, the word seeing and hearing have a problem with it because it suggests seeing, like, I guess you see me. I see some of your profile pictures right now. I'm looking. Lauren, I see a picture. John, I see a picture, right? And others. I see a picture. So I see. What am I seeing? Something outside of me. You're hearing me now. What are you hearing? Something outside of me, outside of you. We can't say that about God, though. So let's give a better metaphor. Pesach, a lot of house duties. So a little skin came off, and I feel somewhat, it's nothing. I don't need a refuah shlema. But I feel it at times. It's sensitive. Nothing. Is it because I see it that I know that there's some, something sensitive there? Or there's something that's scorched? Scorched is the right word, but something that is ailing? Is it because I see it? Is it because I see it? Now I know it's ailing. No, it's because I feel it. How do I feel it? Because it's a part of me. How's that? Because my brain, which is my soul within me. In other words, this is the physical part of me, but yet I'm aware of it, not because it's outside of me, because I sense it, I feel it, I experience it, being that it's a part of me, right? Via my brain. Likewise, God. He experiences, he feels, he senses, if that's the right word, obviously not in human terms, just like not seeing and hearing in human terms, but it's a part of him. It's not outside of him. So when God knows or God sees, he's not seeing, like if I would see someone else's finger, right, I wouldn't feel their pain. If you show me your finger and there's something wrong with it, I would, because I see it, I would know, oh, look at that. You've got some malady. You've got some, something. I bet you that's painful. I would have to stab a guess at it. I wouldn't know necessarily because I'm not experiencing it. I'm not feeling it because it's outside of me. But there's nothing outside of God. So therefore, when he's seeing and hearing that which is from within. The metaphor for that is my soul is experiencing through the medium of the brain, the awareness that the brain has, experiencing the pain that the finger has, even though it's in the finger, but yet it's my soul, my mind, that has the capacity of understanding and awareness. It's all within me, and I'm not aware of it outside of me because of sight. Now, and then with this we understand then Maimonides' teachings when he says that God is the knower, the known, and the knowledge all as one. For example, my brain is my soul is the knower, my brain is the knowledge, the tool of knowledge, right? That I should be the person, the knower. And then there's the known. 2 + 2 = 4, or whatever else. Or that, hey, Rick just joined us, right? That's the known, right? And they're 3 separate things. There's the information that's known. There's the tool of knowledge, which is the brain that allows us to know that information. And then there's the knower, which is the person, the soul, the person themselves that becomes the knower. It's not my brain that's the knower. It's me, the person, that's the knower. There's 3 separate entities. And that's why information is separate from me. I incorporate and make it a part of me, but it's not inherently a part of me. 2 + 2 is not inherently a part of me. Being aware that Yehuda is watching, and Cassie is here, Jane is here, right? Is an awareness outside of me. So that's the way it is in the human condition, in the created condition. However, God, he is the knower, the knowledge, and the known is one. So when he's knowing that, when God is knowing that which is to be known, right? Like, he's not like, oh, look at that. Ronnie Fine is giving a Tanya class, and oh, look at that. Tim is here, and Julie is is in the class. That's being aware of something that's outside of you. God has that awareness. It's a part of him, not outside of him. Just as the soul is aware, my mind is aware of the pain that my finger has, minor pain, not even pain, sensation at this point, that my finger has, not because I see it, but because I'm aware because it's a part of me. It's of me. Now there's a problem over here in this metaphor. The metaphor is suggesting that just as the soul fills the body, God fills the world, and therefore his awareness is not from without. It's not in his ivory tower above and he's looking down. He's, wow, look at those wonderful people. They're stunning, Tanya. Isn't that nice? No, it's of him, not separate from him. The problem with that analogy is, of the soul that's vested within the body, is that the soul, when it's vested within the body, it's affected by the body. The divine soul that's within me, the way it's within my body, it's affected. It's affected by the cold, it's affected by the heat, it's affected by the environment, it's infected by the actions of the body. It's affected by the fact that if you have a pain on the physical body, the soul also has an effect by that. It's affected by it. But God, before he created the world and after he created the world, is not affected by what he created. Of what he created. It's affected when we do good. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the creation. Creation itself. God is not affected by creation. So there is a lack in the metaphor when we're using that as the soul has the capacity to have the awareness of the pain of the body, the malady of the body, that because it's a part of it, not separate, right? But yet at the same time, this metaphor is incomplete because the soul indeed is affected by the body, being that it's enclosed, right? And can be even imprisoned, right? The godly soul can even be imprisoned because the body has its own agenda and so on. But that's aside from that, just by the very nature of the body, that what the body experiences affects the soul. So, God is not that way. He's not affected by the fact that when he's aware of me, of creation, of you, and everything, it is not something that changes him. And this is a very simple, basic idea of faith that all Jews were given as from the patriarchs. Descendants of the patriarchs were believers, descendants of believers, that you are the same as before you created the world and after you created the world. In other words, we gave a whole explanation to understand this till this point. But the Alter Rebbe concludes today's class and says that we're just simple, basic believers because of the nature of the soul that we have within us, that is a gift, is an inheritance from the patriarchs to the descendants. So we become believers, descendants of believers. In other words, we don't even need a proof to this that God's not affected by the act of creation. It doesn't change him. He's the same before he created the world and after he creates the world. There's me, there's you. There's a Tanya class going on right now. Well, it's all a part of him. So he's not seeing it outside of himself, as we explained, even though we use the term seeing. But it's all from within him. Just as my physical body can have a pain, or can have something that is painful, but where will it be experienced? Through the mind, and the mind is part of is a soul thing, because think about it, the brain itself, it's a few pounds of flesh. The fact that it has awareness that there's a little cut on the finger, and it experiences that pain. That's a soul thing. So the soul is aware because it's a part of its being, because the body and soul are intertwined together, are seamlessly as one. So that's the explanation. The Alter Rebbe concludes that, without the explanation, we believe that. We're Chabad at the same time, so it's not enough to just be believers, descendants of believers. But Chabad means we have to have an understanding. So Alter Rebbe gives us now the understanding of this idea. So God is seeing everything I do, not from his ivory tower from above. By the way, this ivory tower and so on, the Alter Rebbe doesn't bring this at all. I'm just mentioning this because that's the image that so many people have of, God is gazing down upon from above, seeing how his, and truth be said, when you read Chumash, there are such verses that do suggest that. But again, those are all metaphors for us to understand on a simplistic level. Because when we read the Chumash, a 5-year-old needs to be able to appreciate it and to understand what it means that God's on his throne, that God is above and he's looking down below. What are the people doing? Let me go down and see what they're doing over there, as he does with the Tower of Babel. Right? And in other instances, or with the story with Sodom and Gomorrah, and ultimately destroying, right? The story with Abraham. So that's to understand on a very childlike level. And there's a deeper level. And Chassidus even explains those levels when it means that God is up there and he comes down. It means levels of divinity. It's levels of divinity when it speaks about over there. This the Alter Rebbe doesn't speak about over here. I'm just adding that for us to have a deeper understanding and appreciation. But the explanation is that there's something outside of God, as he's knower, knowledge, and the known as one. The metaphor for that is like the soul within the body that experiences and is aware of something that happens to the physical body, because it's a part of it. It's from within. It's not from without. It's the same thing as God is aware of everything from within. Heavy duty stuff to live with. It's a game changer. Actually, every day is a game changer with the Alter Rebbe. That's what's so unique about Tanya. So let us say hello to Luciana. Shalom. Rivka from Germany. Hello. Russ Shavua Tov from Boca. And Rafael from Brazil. Shalom. Cassie from Austin, Texas. Thank you. Stella from Manchester, United Kingdom. Shalom. And Jacqueline, thank you for joining. Shmuli from Phoenix del Avi. I think that would be the first name. Irma, good morning from St. Martin. Viola from Antigua. Okay, I'm not sure where that is, but welcome. Azmi, shalom from Russia. Wonderful. Omar, good from Texas, good morning. Julie, Boker Tov. John from North Carolina, Boker Tov. Jacqueline from, I don't know, not clear. Denise and Linda, sisters together in New York. Thank you for joining. Lauren, shalom. Shalom from Dot. I'm not sure. Did I read that correctly? I think. This is Cindy from Florida. Yeah, and from Holland. From me. Got it. Wonderful. Bishop from Kenya. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Rick from the Chicago area. Jane also from the Chicago. Julie from Florida. Good morning. Tim from Texas. Franklin is here. Jonathan. Cassie. Yes, thank you. As me. If God is affected by creation, then he is not God. Exactly. Well said. Is God affected by the choices we make through our free will? Okay, well, we'll get back there in a second. Rachel, excellent question. Yes, we are misled by Western dualism, Rachel says. Yes, absolutely. Cal, aliens. Let's not be alien. We're all connected. David, my son Beryl is watching with, I hope, my granddaughter. Okay. So, by the act of creation, God is not affected. But he desires, truly desires, us to be connected to him. And through that, to make a dwelling place for him in this world. We're the ones who have to do that. Is he affected? I don't know if the word affected, does it make a difference? Does he care? Absolutely. Does God care that I be good? Does God care that I have a relationship with him? Absolutely. Absolutely. Does he lament when we do wrong? Absolutely. Now, not in human terms, he doesn't lament. And the joy that he has, let's put it this way. When my kids do good, it gives great joy to me. When they do things that are not so good, it's painful. Should it be that way? Absolutely. Why? Because we're connected. We care. Are we connected to God? Yes. Whether we know it or not, we're connected, and God cares. He cares about how we behave and what we do. It makes a difference to him. Now, what does it mean it makes a difference to him? Well, does it make a difference to me how my kids behave? Absolutely. But into what manner? In a limited way, because I'm a limited human being. But to God, it's absolute and it's infinite. His care is infinite. His desire that we do good is infinite. His abhorrence to evil is infinite. So does it matter if I put on my tefillin? Infinitely so to God. To me, in a finite manner, it matters, not infinitely, because I'm a finite person. Does it, that my children should do a mitzvah? Does it matter to me? Absolutely. I'm in a finite, limited way. To God, it matters infinitely, the good that we do. Now, the fact that when we don't do something that's appropriate, so there's consequences. Just like if you pig out and eat a whole pizza pie, kosher, of course, only kosher for a Jew. You eat a whole pizza pie. Is it a punishment now that you are like feeling really sick, that your stomach is, ugh? You had a pizza pie, you had a whole bottle of Coke, you had whatever other, 2 Sunday ice creams, you really, is it is there a punishment now here? It's not a punishment, it's a consequence. It's punishing. It's a consequence of, pigging out. So, likewise, God creates in the world, part of the creative process, things that are a consequence to our actions, to our negative actions, and likewise to our positive actions. The positive, though, is much greater. It's not limited to just the creative process. Because ultimately God is good, and therefore the good that we get is infinitely good. Because it infinitely matters. I hope that answers the question. All right, folks. Mark from Santa Rosa. Thank you for joining. As always, Flavio from Brazil. Thank you for joining. All right, folks. Sharing is caring. It really matters that we share, because then we make a difference in people's lives. And that's, it's not enough that we make a difference in our lives. So please share. I'm working on my plan that we have, we have maybe like 80 or so people, 100 people or whatever it is that are constantly watching every day. And actually views is more like, 1 to 2,000. Amazing. But it's far from what it needs to be. So got to bring this to the next level. If anybody's interested to help out with that. Not only sharing the class, but beyond that, let me know, because we got to change the world, and we need to change it now. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from my home in Montreal, Canada. It was a privilege and a pleasure to share with you, Tanya. Have a wonderful day.